Seriously, we gotta stop the BS. Because boxing is starting to look too WWE-ish right now. With everybody, like, you got fathers coming on here. So, oh, I sent the contract and nobody sent the. You're the father. So how is you going to send the contract when top rank Matchroom is involved? But shout out to the Haneys, because you got to believe the Haneys. Why? Because Dev is own promotional company. So if they say something, sometimes you got to second guess it. Why? Because the other side always knows. When the person's in the contract, the other person is going to get it. But sometimes it's too WWE-ish. You know, a lot of these promoters be involved with the situation and a lot don't. But at the end of the day, they'd come on here and spread false rumors. You know, like right now, everybody's saying Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. would be a big-ass fight at 147. How? Dev ain't even had a fight at 147. Don't say the Jose Ramirez fight was at 147, because it wasn't. It was at a catch weight. And catch weights, you're not campaigning at that weight class. You understand me? Because y'all like this shit on Tank. Y'all like this shit on Floyd, right? Tank, Floyd, Canelo, y'all always say, oh, this is catch weight shit. But when Dev and these corny ass niggas do it, or Bud Crawford do some shit like that, it's acceptable. Y'all people is crazy. We got to stop with this narrative. Boxing is too WWE-ish right now. If the fight really happened, would it be a great fight? Me personally? No. No. Why? Because we already know how Dev is going to act, how he's going to react to the situation. Unless he come and fight. But at the end of the day, it's a 50-50 fight if the old Dev show up. But it's all about that granite chin. It's all about that glass chin. I can't say granite. It's all about that glass chin. And both of them have a glass chin. Both fighters have a glass chin. You understand me? And if the old Dev show up and get to take shots, then yes, he got a chance to drop Brian Norman Jr., not knock him out. But if Brian Norman Jr. knocked Devin Haney out, we're going to get the same outcome that happened to Ryan. They're going to say Brian Norman Jr. on PEDs, all that shit, yo. This is what y'all not catching on. Y'all let a well-known cheater, Victor Conte, come into the sport, help create VADA, got parts of VADA, got it off the ground, and if you're not enrolled in the VADA, all of a sudden, you test positive for PEDs. Like, for instance, you see the narrative that they put out. That's why I said boxing is so WWE right now. Look at the narrative they put out there, right? You know who Victor Conte is, a well-known cheater. So, if you're under VADA testing, and you're getting tested, and all of your tests come back negative, but on fight night, this is the crazy thing. Before the fight, you get tested, and after the fight, you get tested. So if your A sample during before the fight come back negative, you got to fight. You understand me? That's the shit they don't tell y'all. His test came Friday, came back negative. That's how the fight happens. Then after the fight, they take another test. Why? Because Shiraz is who he rolled under. And they already know Canelo and Bud coming up. We already know Bud Crawford is with Victor Conte. We all know Bud Crawford, Bomac is a well-known cheater. We know that. We know Bomac got caught cheating in 2014 with Amir Khan. That's why when 2015, peak game. That's why when 2015 came, they went straight to who? Victor Conte, so he can cover up the cheating situation. You get it now? That's why he started messing with Victor Conte, because Amir Khan was the sacrificial lamb. Amir Khan got caught. Bomac was his trainer. This is facts. Go look it up. Gugu's a motherfucker, man. Gugu is a motherfucker. But only if Turkey can come in and get it out the way, which he will. Which he already did with the Spence fight. The beginning of the Spence fight, you watch Gary interview motherfucking Bud inside of his locker room. And you heard, because Tim Bradley was the announcer of that fight, and you heard Tim Bradley saying, why is Bud Crawford wrapping his hands? He's not supposed to do that. He's putting tape on skin. That's illegal. Woo-woo. Make it make sense. That's why I say boxing right now is too WWE-ish. And what big fights a person is putting on. I ain't seen no big fight yet. Because the fight everybody want to see is Canelo Benavidez. The fight everybody want to see is who? Bud Boots. Or Bud and Virgil. You feel me? Nobody don't want to see Bud versus Canelo. But Bud Crawford. Canelo don't want to even fight the motherfucker. So that's why I tell y'all people, like, we got to stop the narratives in boxing, man. The first person that can come on here, start a narrative, the narrative become the truth, and it's everywhere. Nah, I mean, then the next a week or two later, hey, oh, Boots did this. Boots ducked Brian Norman Jr. But how when Brian Norman Jr. ducked Boots 2 times? How when Eddie Hearn sent them the contract and said we already know you fighting Jinsaki, we're offering you 2.4 million just to sign the contract. And Norman Sr. was on Mill City Boxing. Shout out Mill City. Shout out Norman Sr. He even stated that, why would I sign a contract if I'm already in a fight? He stated this before the Jinsaki fight on a Thursday. He stated that shit that Monday before. And that week prior to that, he came on here and said it. Then y'all got people thinking everybody ducking. Nobody ducking Devin Haney. Ain't nobody ducking Devin Haney. Trust me, nobody ducking Devin Haney. Devin Haney do this type of shit for clout. He do this type of shit for clout. You understand me? So that's why I said right now boxing is in a weird place because all you got to do is look at it. It's so WWE. When you got Bud Crawford doing press conference talking about Canelo resume, Canelo fought all elite fighters. Colo was elite, Austin Trout was elite, Islandy Lara was elite. They all was in their prime. You ain't fight nobody. And at least the only two elite fighters you should have said you fought was Gamboa and Earl Spence. But the reason you ain't say they elite, because they was damaged goods. Even Sean Porter, but you know Sean Porter was damaged goods and he took a dive. That's why you bring up bum-ass Ricky Burns. Nobody know who Ricky Burns is, bro. The year you fought Ricky Burns, you could have had all of the other fights there. You could have fought Adrian Broner at the time, but you didn't. Could have fought Danny Garcia at 140, Lucas Matiste at 140. You could have fought Victor Postal when Victor Postal was in his prime. Not 2016 Iceman when he was ass wipes. You could have fought Victor Postal 2011, 12, and 13 when he was in his prime. Once 2014 came, Victor Postal was ass. I'm only stating facts. And you only fought your sparring partner because American wasn't your camp. He was a Bomac fighter. Bomac was his trainer. When American test positive for PEDs, Bomac was his trainer. That's why you, Bud Crawford, you was cheating too, but you ran the Victor contact. We got to say alleged, right? But American tested positive for PEDs and Bomac being his trainer is not alleged. That's facts. That's motherfucking facts. That's facts. And one thing about a defamation lawsuit, all I got to do is say such and such. The proof is in the pudding. The videos mean everything. And one thing, you can't delete none of this shit. You can't delete none of this shit. All you can do is shadow ban and blacklist a motherfuckers, blackball a motherfucker. All you can do. But we already know the truth. We already know the truth. You're not cut like that. You're not built like that. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And it's just like that, Doc.